So in this one, we are looking at how to use the like button. So if I want to like a post, how do we do that one? So the easy way to do this is to create a function inside the class that handles all this, so that all we can do is just say like button. All right. Okay, so let's get to it. So to begin with, let's create a page that will be handling the like when we click where the user will be taken to. Now this page requires no designing whatsoever. It's simply going to be an empty page because no one will see anything. So what will happen is the user will be taken to that page, but the page will redirect them back again to wherever they were without them knowing that they even left the page. So let's create our page, and we're going to call it like.php. So I'll create it from here, or you can create it right inside your text editor right here. File, new file. But since I've already created it down here, I can simply drag and drop it into my project. So of course we're going to need some PHP tags. Now we will not need to close this PHP tag because we won't put any HTML down here. Okay. Now the first thing we have to learn how to do is to redirect our user back here. So this is the PHP, the like button here. So I want to click the like. So in order to add a link to this like, we have to go into the post.php because this is what contains this single post. So let's go to post.php in here, and there we go. So if we come down here to where there's a like, as you can see, there's already an href here which we can utilize, right? So let me put some PHP tags here and echo out. Actually didn't need that. Let me open and close. What I needed to do was just move it to like.php, just like that, and then put the query string and say id is equal to. Okay. Now since we will be able to like you want to be able to like posts, and also you want to be able to like comments, and also you want to be able to like profiles, we have to specify what we are actually liking here. So we'll give it an ID, but let's say type first, and say type is equal to post, and then we'll put an and say ID is equal to. So we're telling it that the type is equal to post, and the ID is whatever we'll put in these echo here. So we're going to echo the ID. I'll copy this here, put it there, but what I want is the post ID. Posted like that. And so let's check it out. So as you can see, if I go here now, I'm going to see the URL has changed with a lot of data. First of all, there's the type and there's the ID. So if I click on this, it will take me to this page, which is like.php, and it's an empty page. Okay. Now the thing is, I don't want this like.php to actually do anything visible. All I want though is to be able to return the user to their previous page. Now whatever that page is, they have to be able to go back after the like thing has actually executed. So in order to do that, I'm going to use something called a variable in server called referrer, but I'm not sure exactly what it's called. So what I will do is just simply print what's inside server so I can explore to see what I'm looking for, right? So let me add some pre-tags for some nice looking something more readable, and let me close those pre-tags, move them down here, And so let's go and hit the like button. There we go. Okay, so now we've got the referrer. So let me zoom in a little bit, see what I'm looking for here. Where is the referrer? Of course, I could simply search. There we go, HTTP referrer. That's what it's called. Now, if you take a look at this one, it shows you the link of where you actually came from before you reached this particular page. So this is what I want right here, HTTP referrer. So let's go down here, and we're going to create a variable called return to and assign the server HTTP referrer, like so. Let me copy that and put it here and put inverted quotes in there. So we're going to return to that. We just have to remember it. But there's a slight problem though. If I simply copy and paste this link into another page, you will notice that the referrer, where is the referrer? Oh my god. So you notice that referrer does not exist, and I have a warning here, unidentified index HTTP referrer. So this referrer is not always there. So we need to have a contingency plan in case it's not, right? So if in this is the case where no page referred me to here, I simply typed in the link, and so the referrer does not exist. So in such a case, we are going to return the user to some other place, and the return to we'll return them to the profile page. So you can choose whatever page you want to return them to. So in this case, we are going to check if it exists. So we're going to say if is set, if it's set. If it is set, then we're going to use it. If not, so if it's set, return to will be equal to that. Then we'll put an else statement where we are going to tell it just return to the profile page. So this part is set and this is good. So let me remove this and let's prove if this is actually working by going down here and saying header location, and then we're going to concatenate return to down here, return to, and die for good measure. So let me go back, close that up, refresh the page and hit like, and as you can see, it has simply refreshed the page. However, what you don't know is that it went to that page and came back immediately like that. Okay, so we can do whatever we want there, create the like, and then bring the user back to see the like itself. Okay, so far so good. Now what we need to do is tell it to like based on the data we have given it. So the data we're going to supply is the type of like and whether it's a post or whatever it is. And so let's get to it. So I'm going to say post is equal to new post. So we're creating the new post class here, and then we're going to create a new method called post like post, just like that. And in here we're going to give it a few variables that came with the whole thing. So we must confirm that those variables actually exist. Now whether those variables exist or not, we still need to redirect the user back. So we don't want them to stay around and see any errors. So we're going to say if, so we're using the get variable here, if is set Now both have to be set for this to work, so I'm going to ask for both. If get type is set and is set get, what was the other one, ID, was it? I can simply go back and confirm by looking down there. Yes, it's ID. Excuse me. All right, so open, close bracket. Okay, so if both of these exist, then we are good to go. Now we must be very careful, because as usual this information can be supplied by a user since it's in the URL. So first of all, we must simply check to see that ID is a numeric value. So we're going to say if get ID. Actually, what we're supposed to ask is if is numeric. If it is numeric, that's for starters. And then type is a very limited thing. We can either have posts, we can either have comment, or we can either have the profile to like. We are not going to be liking anything else apart from that, so we can be very strict about this. So what I can do is I can say we've checked if this is numeric, so we are good to go. So let's do another check down here and say if type is equal to, let's start with post, or, so I can simply duplicate this a couple of times and remove the one at the end. So I say if the type is equal to post, or it's equal to profile, or it's equal to, now as we increase our the type of things we can like, this will get pretty long. So there's a better way to actually do it. Instead of doing this, what I could say is I could create an array of allowed things. I could say allowed. So this is what we call whitelisting, because I'm selecting what is allowed and not banning things. I'm telling it what only to accept. The advantage of telling it what to accept as opposed to banning something is if you ban something specific, like you banned the word type, somebody might come up with another word that might end up being allowed. But if you've whitelisted, like if I've given it a list of things I can only accept, no matter what else they type, it's going to be rejected. So here there's one for post. Let me start with post. Oh, actually this is wrong. What I'm supposed to do is put this outside. So this right here creates an array, and in that array I've put in the first location, I have put this word post. Okay, so I can just duplicate it as many times as the types that I want to show here. So there's profile, and then there's a comment. So any of these can be liked. So what I need to check for now is to say is if is in array. So we're looking for a specific value inside that array. So what is the needle? Now the needle is something you're looking for in a haystack. So the needle is, or the needle, depending on your pronunciation, we are looking for the get type. Okay, whatever that type is that we've been supplied, can we find it in the haystack, in the allowed haystack? Okay, so if it's there, then we are good to go. So if it's there, we grab these guys and put them there. So if it's inside this array, if this type that we've been given in the URL is allowed, it's inside this allowed, then let's go ahead and like a post. So to like this post, we need two variables. First of all, we are going to supply the get ID, that's the ID, and then we are going to tell it the type as well. And just like that. And that's it. Now the problem is this guy does not exist. So we have to create this method inside the post class. So we go to the classes and get the post.php in here, and we create one more function. So as you can see, the post class is getting really big. Okay. So from this I own post, we can do something similar. Okay. Now before we go any further, let's create the if we go to we create a table for likes, we have to create a separate one. So posts are here, and there's a comment section and there's likes here. So here the number will be upgraded. If there is one like, we'll just simply increment this number by 1. Okay. Now the problem is if you look at the social website, you need to know who liked your post and so on. So we need extra data. We just don't need to know how many likes there are. We need to know who liked. And also, for us to prevent one person liking 10 times, we have to know who has already liked so that we can restrict them. All right. So in order to do that, we need a separate table that will contain the likes. Now, creating a table is pretty easy in this case. So we'll go to the new, we click on new here on my book so that we create a new table. Okay. So let me come back here. So first of all, we need the ID, of course, for readability's sake. We need a primary key, so that will be the ID. And then we need to know the type of like that this is. So this table, if I go at the top here, I'm going to name it likes. So this is just a table for likes. So there's a type, and then there's the ID for that type. So whether it's a post ID, it's a profile ID, it's a user ID, or whatever it is, we're just going to name it content ID. So I'll say content, it will be one word like that. I like to make them like that, content ID. And now we're going to put the likes in here, like so. Okay, so now inside likes, now the likes can be a lot, so we have to know the file type to put here. On ID, because we will have many IDs, we're going to select big integer. On type, it's a variable character. So on type, we're going to look at how long these characters are, simply by going to here. The longest of these is comment, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 characters. So just to be safe, in case we add something new in future, we'll put it at 10. And then comment ID, we'll put big int as well here, because we're content ID, sorry, because we'll be getting these IDs from the posts and the profiles and all that stuff. So they must be able to fit. Now likes here, we're going to use text. Okay, we're not going to use variable character, we're going to use text or a number. It's going to be text right there. The reason we're doing this is because we don't know how many people are going to like your post. They could be millions, so we have to accommodate them, so we'll put text. Okay. So the first thing here, we have to add an index on the ID. That would be the primary index. So let me select that, and I'm going to say OK, primary index, and make sure that you tick the auto increment so that the index can be added automatically by the database. And that's pretty much it. So we click save, so that now we can save our new table. Now a few things to add here on the table. We have to add an index. So whatever column that you're going to be searching things on, you have to add an index. So content ID, I'll be looking for those IDs there, and so I want to add an index there. Okay, and then the type also, I'm going to be using that to search for the likes of a specific thing, so I will put that there, but then the likes will remain as text. Okay, so far so good. That's all we need for this video. I'll see you in the next video where we continue to save the likes data in there. See you then.